Hey Brandon, great to have you on the show. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well, Ed. Thanks for having me.
So Brandon, you're Chief Strategy Officer at UiPath, founder and Managing Director at Crew Capital, a VC company based out of NY. And obviously today we're here to talk about UiPath, which is a software platform to help organizations efficiently automate business processes through robotic process automation, which is otherwise known as RPA, which I've only recently heard about. It's really interesting going into depth on UiPath, and I'm really interested to see what we can learn today. So I thought we'd just kick off by asking what factors have contributed to the rapid acceleration of AI and automation recently.
Yeah. Well, I had first heard about UiPath and met Daniel, the founder of the business, in 2016, just as they were starting to get initial commercial traction in the business, predominantly in Europe and Asia before they had entered the US market. And I was asking myself kind of the same question as to what's going on in this market. It's still very early, feels like greenfield, but lots of potential. And what I was able to gather based on my research, conversations with customers, with people who had been following BPM and the automation market more broadly, was that there were really three key market forces that all kind of converged around 2015, 2016. And it just made the UiPath product set really well positioned. With these types of things, it always is a matter of persistence, investment, and a little bit of luck. And I think the three market forces that converged were one that took a lot of time was that there were just better documented business processes. Over the last several decades, BPOs had made a tremendous amount of movement in better structuring and documenting the processes on behalf of their clients, who are some of the largest organizations and enterprises on the planet. And so this effectively gave a blueprint for where automation could be most fruitful, at least in the early days of software automation. The second is, people are talking a lot about generative AI and these foundational models today. I actually think that really took place, the emergence of AI coming out of, the AI winter back then, in 2015. We had really cheap compute power. It led to massive amounts of data. And there was kind of this AI awakening, as a lot of reporters had mentioned at the time. And as luck would have it, this technology that UiPath had, this RPA engine, fulfillment engine, kind of became the fastest entry point to AI. And data scientists were a very in-demand role at the time. They were building all these new ML scripts, but there wasn't a really great means by which to bring those data models into the operational fold of a business. And RPA was a much simpler mode by which to do that. I always talk about the analogy of the brain and the arms and the legs. So you had these data scientists that were kind of building the brain of these scripts, but UiPath could effectively become the arms and legs to conduct the actual work within the business. And if you have a brain with no execution, the arms and legs, you can't create any output.
Yeah.
And so that was kind of the second. And then the last thing was more about us at the time. It was just the maturity of our technology, predominantly our computer vision, which is, a highly complex technological challenge, not something that can be solved with money alone. Took a long time to develop. You need to understand all of the nuances, right? All of the end scripts to all of these different systems. And there's just kind of a gestation dynamic that's at play. And we were really coming to a point of maturity in terms of enterprise scalability and security, and got our messaging down. And so you had all these things come together, and it just kind of worked really well.
And obviously, AI is the hot topic at the moment, but you guys have been in it for more than 10 years, I think, as you sort of been alluding to. The recent interest in it, has anything helped technologically recently that's going to propel your business forward, or is this things you've already been working on for years, and really it's just they're just more interested in it at the moment, but you're already there and established and providing the benefits from AI.
Yeah, I mean, we've been building AI in our technology for many years. But the AI product strategy itself, I would say, really has evolved. And it has kind of three distinct layers in my mind. We have AI that's built into our technology, and this is the stuff that we've been working on for a long time. People talk about these horizontal models now, these large language models, where you write anything in, it has an understanding and can put an output that based on natural language makes a lot of sense. I would say our AI, our built-in AI strategy historically, and this is the case of a lot of AI companies, was very practice oriented. And what do I mean by that? It was AI applied at a very specific use case. So, we have a document understanding product that can, read documents, open emails, look at PDFs, and extract information. We're one of the best in the world at that. And that AI technology we've had for many years, and it's something that we've been refining over a long period of time. We have a task mining product, very similar, very specific practice area of AI. There have been new products that have come along as well. We have a new product called Clipboard AI, which is like a semantic copy paste. Imagine taking data fields out of any sort of document, doing a Control-C copy, and then being able to paste all of that data semantically into a new application. Understanding, if a name is listed in this PDF, knowing to paste that name into the application field, all the way down to address, billing info. It saves a lot of time for people. So there's been some stuff that's made some of these built-in AI capabilities easier, like that last one I mentioned. But those are all things that we've built into our products. We also have this notion of bring your own model. There's a lot of really smart organizations out there who have invested into a certain level of capability with their data science teams, with their AI teams. They've built their own models. And I don't think we're so naive to think that we're going to solve every sort of AI problem that exists on this planet. You want to let your customers have the power of choice. And so we allow them to bring their own models into our studio, have our robots push that data to their models. The models can make a decision based on whatever logic that they're using, and we can go execute that decision based on their models. And then the third pillar for us is integration with third parties. And so I think OpenAI is getting a lot of press right now. They've done some amazing work, but we've been long partners of Google and Amazon as well. And I think that there's going to be a very long tail of younger startups working on these types of problems. And our plan is to work with a lot of them. Again, with a goal of bringing the power of flexibility, openness, and choice to our customers.
And can you give us some examples of how some of the industries that you work with at UiPath use RPA to help their businesses provide value, to their customers?
Well, one of the I think one of the most powerful things about this category is that it's highly horizontal. We have customers in dozens of different industries. We've been global by nature from day one. The company obviously has its roots in Bucharest, Romania, but we've expanded our customer base into India and Japan, Western Europe, Eastern Europe, North America, South America, with revenues, fairly distributed, and customers fairly distributed across all of them. We serve large healthcare systems, large banks, insurance companies, telcos, retail businesses, manufacturers, oil and gas. There's just so much that you can build with UiPath Business Automation Platform. And it's a bit like Excel when people ask in the sense like, can I do this in Excel? Can I build a formula that calculates this? The answer is inevitably yes. It's simply a matter of, do you know the right formulas? Is the template put in place in a way that's relational and won't break if you do certain things to it? We have a very robust offering, and we can support companies in all of these industries and reveal the art of the possible to them in terms of driving the results that they ultimately want. The results that most of our customers typically want revolve around saving cost, saving their employees time, up-leveling their employees, or freeing up bandwidth to innovate more with the existing resources that they have, doing more with less. Effectively, the definition of what automation brings. If I think of a few examples of some marquee accounts, DHL, one of the largest global forwarding and freight companies on the world, they rely on us exclusively for all business automation needs. They have a little over 500 automations built. They've deployed that to 400 plus employees, all focused on very high level work. They have a centralized virtual delivery center that focuses on identifying new use cases, developing and scaling those robots across the enterprise. It's an amazing story from one of those marquee brands, and a freight forwarding, a global forwarding and freight business. So driving innovation through automation there. We also have a healthcare group, NHS Trust, that has a very large automation program. They actually train 50 employees every single month on automation. Their robots are handling millions of transactions, from appointment scheduling to patient referrals, moving data between their different systems. It's absolutely crucial to their digital transformation strategy.
And do you think you've crossed the chasm from early adopters, which I imagine were the first people to sort of start using RPA? Have you now gone mainstream and you've got a lot of big customers now, or what is the market potential, do you think, moving forward?
Well, I have to be a bit careful on what I disclose, as we are in a blackout period right now ahead of our Q1 earnings. But I think, per our previous earnings report, we have approximately 200 plus customers that are paying us north of $1 million a year. We have something like 1,000, greater than 1,000 businesses paying us over $100,000 in annual recurring revenue. We have a very long tail of early companies, people that have, just come in to our product suite, trying to think through all the innovative ways that they can get leverage out of what is now a pretty expansive platform that spans all the way from discovering new processes, managing those processes, building new ones, and then analyzing them to understand what your ROI is. And what we've found over time, and this comes through in how we report, how we talk about the maturity of our customers, is that over time they become more sophisticated. Over time they use the product more and more. Over time they train more of their employees to become automation first citizen developers. And this is true in every industry, in every country in the world. We have a very large and active developer community of almost 2 million people all over the world. People who, have been trained on our product, understand how to drive value from, building automations in our various studio products. And, it's why people skill themselves on our technology. It's why our customers grow with us over time. And it's what's created this, this flywheel effect of, innovation and growth and innovation.
And can you just quickly give us an overview of your background and how you've gone from software to VC and back again? It seemed like quite an interesting path.
Yeah, well, I started my career actually building products. So I started my career at a much larger tech company that I think a lot of people probably familiar with, at least the brands, I've called Intuit. And so they, creators of QuickBooks and payroll solutions. And, I started out building an early version of a payment gateway API there. It was a kind of a failed version of what Stripe ultimately became at the time. And I've always said that, working at a big company, it's a great place to start your career and a great place to end your career. And so I spent like 4 years at that company. I learned a lot along the way. I had a bunch of different roles and opportunities and managers, but it was a big public business when I was there in 2011, and I really wanted to go try something smaller. And this is in this period of time we were just coming out of the housing crisis, and tech was starting to come into its own, but it was pretty hard to decipher what was noise and what was real opportunity. And so I found myself going to a venture capital firm on the East Coast, and I thought it helped me build a skill set to help evaluate young companies to ultimately help me, determine what could be a good next path for me. It was supposed to be a couple year in and out thing. It turned into another 4-year journey. I really enjoyed the opportunity working with young founders and CEOs and helping build businesses in an advisory board member type of position. And as we had started this session in 2016, when I first met Daniel, I think that really, after all the hundreds or thousands of companies that me and my team had evaluated, that became one that I was really excited about. And ultimately, I found the one to make the leap, and UiPath became what it became. And again, there's a lot of luck and timing in that, but you build muscle memory, and when you see what good looks like enough, you have a sense of, that when you see what great looks like enough times. You don't see great that frequently, though.
Yeah.
So you're kind of acting on imperfect data.
And how does UiPath develop like a competitive moat? Is that something you're actively working on, or?
Well, I think competitive mode. I think that there's a lot of ways in which we've developed a competitive mode. I think technologically, there's we've become subject matter experts in our domain in automation, and I think over time, there's the core of attended and unattended, and the orchestration of our robots that's become extremely resilient, very secure, highly scalable. We work with businesses that are in the U.S. federal government. We work with highly regulated industries such as banking and healthcare, and so I think we've solved. We've been able to cater to some of the most sophisticated organizations in the world in that core element of our product. I think on the periphery, we've also had a really great nose for what's to come, and so you look at some of the synergies that exist between core automation, between process mining, task mining, email classification, which is a component of our product now through an acquisition that we made late last year, a company called Reinfer. You look at a lot of the analytics that we've added on top, the ability to ingest AI models through our own models, or bring your model, or some of the third parties we work with. So we've kind of continued to expand over time, furthering the moat technologically, horizontally, but also going deeper in terms of sysadmin requirement, scalability, security, etc. I also think that there's equally valuable non-technological elements to how we've grown that have created a moat for us. I'll talk about two. Our partner ecosystem. We work with some of the largest global system integrators and regional system integrators on the planet. You look at EY, PwC, I think are a couple, Accenture that we mentioned publicly. We have fantastic relationships with those organizations, very strong shared customer bases, skin in the game in terms of making our customers jointly successful. And it's no surprise that some of our largest partners are also some of our largest customers. It's a great statement of trust and validation when the people who are out there pushing your messaging and embracing what you do are also leveraging it internally. So I think that's a total force multiplier for us. I also think this community that I had mentioned earlier, the millions of trained citizen developers that are logging on to our learning academy and becoming better equipped to build and to manage our environment in hopes of, maybe getting a job at one of these organizations that's building out a center of excellence all around automation. I think that, that's really provided us an amazing feedback loop in
Yeah.
terms of new product creativity, but also in terms of placing people into the workforce to be evangelists for the automation market broadly.
And what does the future hold for UiPath? As much as you're able to sort of divulge it, obviously you'll be working on increasing your customer base. But are there other areas of interest?
Well, I'm really excited about the opportunity that some of these new AI technologies represent for us. We have, as I said, a good practice area of certain things like document understanding, but now I think through the use of natural language, you could do things like query these documents to pull out very specific pieces of information, and get an understanding of what the tone in that document is. So it's not just finding things faster, but it's actually understanding the meaning of that context within those documents. I think with with things like semantic copy paste, our clipboard AI product, like you're now bringing the power of automation literally to every single knowledge worker in a company.
Yeah.
All of us use copy paste on a daily basis to do certain things in our jobs. But now to be able to do it, multifold, pulling so many things at once and putting those into an application with that understanding of where it should go with a high degree of accuracy, I think that, that changes the whole game. So I think that overall, there's going to be a few sectors in the technology market that have a huge have advantages from embracing AI. I think there's a lot of really new, cool, up and coming stuff that might be interesting in the future. I think a lot of it's hype today.
Yeah.
But there's a proprietary set of data that we have right now, understanding of workflows and processes within a large enterprise. And I think being able to take that data, apply it to these models, and being able to lower the barrier of friction to build new automations or to build those automations using natural language. Imagine a world, Ed, where you have something that you do in your day to day. You have to file your expenses, or you have to approve something on behalf of one of your employees, and instead of having to actually do that every day, you can, through some sort of widget, just say, "Hey, build me a process to do this thing," and a robot can be spun up and execute that on your behalf at a scheduled time, all literally through just communication and chat in English.
So you're
It's
just creating a
powerful.
playbook for it to follow.
Yeah, I mean, it's you're giving it directions in the same way that your mother would tell you to make your bed when you're growing up. I mean, it's that level of understanding. So I think that's the underlying power that's being created here, and the companies that will have the ability to harness it will need a certain level of sophistication. They'll need a tremendous amount of their own proprietary data to go
Yeah.
get that level of simplicity. And they'll need the fortitude to stick with it over a long period of time. We're in the very early innings of this, and we've been at it for many years longer than most.
Yeah. Yeah. I was gobsmacked at how old the company is, considering how AI has just come up again, but actually you've been in the game for so long. Just to wrap up the conversation, Brandon, I know you've got some other stuff to get onto. The topic that's on a lot of people's minds is about job displacement and AI. What are your thoughts on that? Do you think we'll end up creating new opportunities? Do you see it as something that just levels up employees so they can, they're able to do more with the time, etc.? What are your thoughts on that area?
I think over the course of a century plus, it's been proven that technology does not. The net effect of technology does not reduce jobs, but actually breeds new and higher value jobs. And I think the same is true with automation and AI. I think that if used appropriately, will enhance customer experiences, will enhance employee experiences, will give people the opportunity to actually focus on more creative, strategic, fulfilling aspects of their jobs. And allow people to achieve more in less time. which will give organizations the ability to achieve more in less time. And what that translates to, like people are like, oh, I think level one thinking is, this will create cost savings, it'll create boost in productivity. And yes, that's true. I think level two is actually like, how do you redeploy that time in those resources?
Yeah.
Maybe it's now freeing up a product manager to go think about, a new product that the company can use to satisfy its customers, create more stickiness within their product, or create a whole new bundle by which to sell. It could also mean more money to stand up a site in a new geography that maybe you haven't had the opportunity to go to market in because you're a bit restrained in a macro that looks like the one today, where rates are really high and growth is challenging. I think all of these things are coming at a really great time in terms of where the global economy is, and it's very often that new technologies like this arise in a period of time where the world needs it most, and it's
Yeah.
what actually brings us back to the light.
Well, thanks, Brandon. This has been really interesting. Just to wrap up, have you got, where can people go to get information on UiPath or any insights you're releasing? Yeah, if you could,
Yeah,
is there a
we
Twitter
have
or a website? Yeah.
yeah, there's a ton of publicly available information. If you're looking just to get a cursory view of our products, the solutions that we have, an overview of the platform, UiPath.com. We have a ton of content on there, white papers, free information. There's also the UiPath Academy if people are looking to actually play with the product and get a bit deeper level understanding of how to build their first automation. The Academy is a wealth of info. It's free. We offer certifications there. So I think both of those are great.
Brilliant. Thanks, Brandon. Have a great rest of the day.
Thanks so much. You too.